your journey from last year at this time. I mean, when we were talking to you in training camp, you're just coming off an injury, just kind of trying to find your way. And now you're one of the guys that is representing your university in the Big Time Media Days. Can you kind of reflect on that journey and where you're at?
Yeah, it's been a really crazy journey. I've had an awesome opportunity to just, play a role for this team, and just been blessed by the man above, just, staying healthy and being able to take it all in mentally and just thrive. So it's been a really cool thing.
Do you kind of remember at what point you started kind of hitting your stride? I mean, going from the guy coming up, working the raw soft, to being somebody that started kind of feeling like, hey, I can do this and do it at a high level?
Yeah, I think for me that was the Illinois game last year. Just kind of started figuring out how to get comfortable in my pass set, how to really throw my hands, be aggressive with them, how to come off the ball, get hands inside the chest, and just try to get off the spot. So that game really took my game from here to here, and just progressively growing since there.
Offensive line, a lot of new faces this year with all the guys coming in. Kind of what's your assessment of that? And it seems like obviously when you spend that much time bringing in that personnel, it's kind of probably a sense of urgency for you guys to kind of take it to the next level.
They honestly took it upon themselves to figure out, everything about Spartan football, whether that's the scheme or just the attitude of it. We got Matt Golden, we got Luka Vintage, we got Connor Moore, and then Caleb Clark, and they all, we all got together. We spent nights eating together, just talking about where we want to go with it. We spent hours in the filming, we spent hours doing extra work together. So just, them taking it upon themselves instead of having to get it coached into them.
Stan, what did you think about getting chosen to be here and do this?
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I was talking to another one of the interviewers, and just thinking about it. I wasn't supposed to be born. I was supposed to be a defected stillbirth, and just seeing how God's blessed me and put me in this position, going from that to being invited to Big Ten Media Day and having this platform, just talk about it and share my experience. It's beautiful, really. Just about that.
I think we talked a little bit about it in the spring, so sorry to sort of double up, I guess, in some sense. But
yeah.
I'm wondering for you, does it sort of feel like now things are really starting for you? Does it, you had the injury, and then you're just kind of trying to get your feet wet in your first year. Does it feel like now is like a now we go type of moment, I guess, for you? Is it, you look at it like that?
I think it's been like that since the start of last year. Since last spring ball, just progressively getting better every day. Finding out or figuring out what I want to focus on, figuring out what's most important to my game, developing that, moving on, developing that, and just seeing where that takes my game. And it's been so cool seeing how it went from the first game to the 12th game, then the spring ball, and now we got fall game. So.
What do you want to see from yourself? I mean, what is the area that you think that can kind of, obviously you want to get better in all areas, but what do you need to really improve on to get where you want to go?
Staying connected to guys throughout an entire run. Being a blocker to the point where we got a running back running right next to me, my guy's trying to make the tackle and he gets dumped. That's what I want.
It feels different now. Just take this anyway, but like a year ago at this time, you guys were obviously you had spring ball and summer, but like you hadn't played a game on some of the staff. A lot of things were maybe on the players. Fast forward to this year, just what feels different?
We've had the playbook for 2 years. We've got to develop with it. We got to figure out, what exactly we're supposed to do. And it's not that we didn't have that opportunity last year, but, we didn't realize just how important it was to be dominant in the playbook. So that's definitely a part of the game that's going to take us next level.
Coach Smith a couple times today, he's mentioned, line of scrimmage, in terms of what's going to separate, what's going to lead to success for you guys next year and how you guys got to improve. How do you guys in the room take that and sort of internalize that and whatnot when the head coach is saying, hey, I'm looking at you guys to sort of take a step here?
Yeah, we got to run the ball. And as soon as we can run the ball, we're going to be able to dump it to our playmakers. We got Nick, we got Evan, we got Krishan, Rod, we got a bunch of them. We got the tight ends. If we're able to run the ball, and we are going to be able to run the ball, we're going to dominate.
For you, what do you feel like is the biggest area that you grow as a person since you've been in college?
As a person?
Yeah.
I'd say instead of internalizing things, just praying my way out of it. Last season, it was a lot. Just going from being injured the previous year to starting the third or fourth game. So, not taking that upon myself, but, just going to pray about it. Talking to the people in my life, my mom, my dad, my entire family, friends, cousins, and just being able to talk about them and just have that level of comfort where I just don't have to take it myself, but I can talk to them, talk about it.
As a player, how do you feel?
I'd say I've gotten, more mature with my hands, my consistency in my set, the power I bring through my hips, staying less down the players. So there's been a lot of improvement, a lot more to go, but just steadily all over the place.
What's the biggest change that Coach Smith has made going into year two? It may have been like subtle, small at first, but you notice the benefits of it.
I'd say he definitely has a very high expectation of our knowledge of the game. And just, looking at the O-line and just knowing exactly what we do against certain looks and then being able to react to it, if they're bringing stunts or, pressures or, moving up before the snap. Just being able to handle that, being mature, communicating, talking, whether it's to the wide receivers, to whoever, but just being able to get that done efficiently.
And how have you seen Aiden's growth, just in terms of just how he's approached this offseason?
Yeah, just way more, cool, calm, collected, mature. Everything he does has intention to it. Constantly working with the wide receivers in the backs, working with the centers to get the snaps right. Whatever the problem might be, he's attacking it. So, just him being comfortable, giving him time in the pocket, he's going to be, he is and is going to be a dude.
Coach was talking about nutrition in the off-season with Coach McDonald. You kind of speak to what your focus was in the off-season. What did you want to do with your body?
Yeah, Coach Matt he worked us this off-season. It's just, it's cool being able to work with the guys and just going through those adversities together. And, after that lift and run, just doing the small stuff, drinking our protein shakes, taking supplements, getting 2 or 3 meals in just before 2 or 3 p.m. And for me, I just wanted to be as heavy as I can and as explosive as I can at the same time. So I put on 10 pounds since last season, moving pretty well, feeling good, very, very conditioned. So
You feel like as a player in the program, like as you've gotten older, you kind of appreciate more the value of like rest and recovery, nutrition, putting in doing everything you can to take advantage of the strength program?
100%. Yeah, just something as small as, you're not supposed to take an ice bath right after a lift because it might minimize, muscle growth. And then, adding the loop, just seeing how my sleep recovery is and all of that it's just cool, and taking advantage of the technology of, all the funds that we get put towards our food, being able to just make food for myself, eat healthy, and, go all in with my health. So, yeah.
What are you noticing from Gavin and Dude, guys that have been around the program for a while? It seems like they've been hungry for a chance for a while. Both had some bad luck, obviously, last year. So them coming back and sort of being right in the mix to play a lot for you guys.
That's exactly the word I'd use. I'd use hungry. They're hungry to show the work they put in. They're hungry to show who they can be as players. They're hungry to get past that injury and just dominate.
Is that good to see from those guys? It seems like they're sort of like locker room character guys.
Yeah. They're both crucial to the offensive linemen, and just seeing how they attack every day. It's very motivating.
Do you feel like the familiarity with the O-line and Aiden has improved over the years?
What do you mean by familiarity?
Like, do you believe that like Aiden and the O-line kind of having
like how we mesh and our
yeah,
comfort? Yeah,
feeling comfortable coming into the season?
Yeah, and it's a two-way thing. But if we give him more time and he's able to navigate the pocket well and able to get through his progressions, which we did all throughout the spring, he's going to be a hell of a player, or 10 times better player. So we went from him being on his toes all the time to definitely giving him a sense of comfort every single play. So yeah.
Who's the leader? Who are the leaders on the O-line? Who are the guys that is it probably more than one? You got some older guys, but
yeah, I'd say it's more than one. I wouldn't necessarily put a name to anyone, but a lot of the vets, they're hungry, they're sick of losing. They've seen what it's like to win, and they've seen what it's like to lose, and they know the difference, and they're craving for wins. So, a lot of that's.
When you talk about running the ball earlier, and you talk about how you guys were really good at that. When you think back to that Iowa game, that was probably the best day on the ground for you guys. Maybe like what stands out?
I think back to Iowa and Michigan.
Yeah. What was happening there that needs to continue or was missing other time? You know what I'm saying? What clicked in those games?
Just consistency. You know, just getting on our man, getting the double team to him vertical. You watch all of our games. When we're successful with the run, we can do it. All of our games we came out strong, but kind of dwindled off. So just being that consistent team is going to be necessary.
Is that pretty evident on film? You said when you guys watch film in the offseason, it's just like little things here or there that kind of.
Just going through the summer, watching games. We watched Boston College. It's like how often we literally missed a guy and we'd still have our own go for 4 or 5 yards. It's like, can you guys imagine what we do when we put everything that we have and know together, and we finally do that? It changed the team.
How about obviously the familiarity, the cohesion between you and the quarterback, but the tight ends too. Like, I mean, how big is that? Because tight ends are such a big part of the run game for you
tight
guys.
ends are a massive part of the run game. Something more football stuff that us and the tight ends have been working on. It's just like getting that vertical movement on the DN, really sealing off the outside for our wide zone schemes, and just we've both been working exceptionally hard at that. It's going to definitely show up.
That wide zone is so big for your offense.
Yeah.
You feel the same way? I mean,
yeah, it's like most of the NFL offenses right now. Detroit Lions, 49ers, Eagles. Every team's pretty much running it.
Stanton, your dad played at Alabama.
Yeah.
What does he tell you about that experience?
So talked about it a couple times.
I saw your dad play.
Did you?
Sure, yes.
The Penn State game, or?
I did all the Penn State games for sure.
Yeah. So you remember that field goal?
Yeah.
So one thing he told me before I got to college, he was like, "Your body is always going to be hurting." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." No, that's very true. That's college football in a nutshell. But we talked about it. Just doing everything you can to keep your body, good and healthy, keeps you going. So.
Do you feel like Jim, as an offensive line coach,